Hello everyone, welcome to GGN. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2013. I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.net. On YouTube, my channels are ddarko2012 and ddarko2013. I like to change it up every now and then. Usually it's not really planned. I just go off how I'm feeling that day. And today this will be kind of a different video from the usual, just going through article and giving my brief opinion. And I know it's a good format, but it's just, I covered this whole thing with Syria, and I was wondering, I'm like, well, is this a distraction? Kind of like how I was talking about, or using the example of Miley Cyrus being used as black magic to draw in people's attention, basically, and point it towards her. In a way, like in a form of sorcery or black magic. And look, she's got all these record numbers on Vimeo or whatever, Vimeo, for her stupid video that further degrades our society and our culture, and she's held up in high esteem now, at least by some people, by the establishment. There's regular average people that know who she is, what she stands for, and are disgusted by her, which is good. But this whole thing with Syria has really just disgusted me. Just what happened, what transpired, all the building up, and then I realized that this was just a big show for us all to watch, between stupid-ass Putin and stupid-ass Obama. And when I say stupid, that's the best word I can use for them. Not saying that they're illiterate, they're unintelligent. They're very intelligent, they're very crafty at what they do. I'm just sick of their lies, and I'm sick of them acting like they're serious and they care about their people or about peace. So we're covering Syria and all in Syria, right? And then all of a sudden it's just died down. Now, for there, all of a sudden it's gone, right? It's still in the news, but it's all about basically how Assad and the Syrian government have fell for the trick of good cop versus bad cop. Of course, bad cop being, Skull and Bones Kerry and Mr. Obama. On the other hand, you have good cop, which is Putin. You'll see in the comment boards and press TV and alternative media, people, websites where you think the commenters, know what's going on, and they still think that somehow Putin represented something, some kind of legitimate sovereign. How could I put this? Alternative to what we have here in the West, but it's not. It's just a different version. It's a different flavor of it. The same thing repackaged, the same shit repackaged. And so they offered. Assad took the offer by Russia to allow them to basically declare their chemical weapons that they never did before, and then say that they're willing to give them up. I think they probably gave them a convincing argument, the Russians to the Syrians, but it doesn't really matter all the details anymore. Let people go on and analyze it. But the gist is that they thought that, in this chess game that they're playing, that they were going to win. Ultimately, they were going to lose. They did a good job, and I hand it to the Syrian Arab army, to the Syrian people, and to Assad and them. And I don't think he's unintelligent. I just think that, fate has basically put them into a corner. And so now, by declaring that they have weapons and saying that they're willing to give up weapons, they pretty much, I mentioned this last video, are somehow, they're admitting to something that they didn't do, which are these chemical attacks. And that's how the world's going to see it, because the world is full of people who can't remember things that they heard or read, if they do still read, 5 minutes ago. So, they're just going to be swayed by the mainstream media, and that's how it's going to roll. And you're already seeing that because there was no evidence of anything of the UN. They were remaining silent until this deal happened. As soon as the deal happened, bam! Now all of a sudden you have what? UN chief, overwhelming evidence of Syrian chemical weapon attack, right? Are they going to say who's doing it? No, their whole job was just to go and basically say that these chemical weapon attacks were carried out. So he did not say whether they carried it out. It says here, but he said that the Syrian leader has committed many crimes against humanity. So I guess that's enough, right? The international community, the planet has spoken. EU to U.S. Assad guilty of Syria gas attack, but no military backing before UN report. So he's not guilty, but they're going to act like they're diplomatic, right? In this whole thing, like they care about peace in the diplomatic process. So they said they will not be rushed into any military action before an official UN report is released. So you have John Kerry, who's been floating this evidence that's been referred to as a bunch of YouTube videos piled together by the terrorists that they're supporting Al-Qaeda. You have Wall Street Journal op-ed writer fired for resume lie. A Syria researcher whose Wall Street Journal op-ed piece was cited by Secretary of State John Kerry and John McCain during the hearings about the use of force has been fired from the Institute for the Study of War for lying about having a PhD, the group announced on Wednesday, 9/11/2013. So, and it doesn't really matter, even though you had people locals saying that the Saudis provided these chemical weapons and that for the terrorists to carry out against civilians and blame it on the Assad government. We know about all the emails. So, just discussing this is just really just a waste of time, I think, because we all know that it's Al-Qaeda. We all know that America supporting Al-Qaeda. And even the controlled opposition, which I think has a legitimate concern to help the Syrian people. But at the same time, talking about leaked emails, about blaming it on the Assad government, this is well known. But like I said before about algorithms, we're dealing with something far more sophisticated than most people think. Even me, it's I'm not saying that I know everything. I only know a little bit. I'm just trying to cover it. But at the same time, I know there's people out there that know way more than me in the comment boards. It's great, man. If you find time to make videos, do it. But I'm just trying to do with what I know here and what I'm learning. But it's about steering the masses of people to do what they want to do, which is completely dominate the whole planet, to subvert their cultures, to mix all the different races, basically to destroy culture through what they call multiculturalism, and pretty much transform them into a whole new species. Like I've mentioned before, where it was a BBC article that they're looking at how the species is going to split basically into this blob race and then into this this kind of superhuman type race, and you can already see it, the split taking place. So me personally, just to go into this, I think personally, and it doesn't mean that I'm some evil eugenicist or anything. I hope that nature will do this. But I do think that the only way out of this is for a bunch of people to die. I hate to say that. It's not going to be done through some kind of rally, some kind of physical revolution. It's not going to happen through some Twitter revolution or protesting and let's bind together as humans and fight this New World Order. Because there's too many different interests. There's just too many souls here that what I would refer to as infant souls. You have advanced old souls, and you have a lot of baby infant souls that are just, I don't know what you want to call them. They have every right to be here. So what I'm saying is that this thing is going to have to balance out. The 2045, 2050 mark. I don't know. We're heading into a cooling period. It's going to last up until then. Midway through the century. You're going to have the effects of all the eugenics, all this technology, being so close to it and interacting with it. And so you will see eventually the numbers go down, the global population numbers go down instead of what they keep telling you about these scary numbers. But there's a natural ebb and flow. What I refer to is the consciousness, some people call it God mind, which is everything. It doesn't have an ego. It's not even aware of itself. So it doesn't have any kind of agenda. It's not going to smite people, as far as what people refer to as their God, that basically judges them and has rewards and punishments. It just rights itself. It balances itself out. And if that means that a whole bunch of souls need to leave this physical plane for it to heal and for it to balance, then that will occur. So. And I'm sure that the powers that be are aware of this. I think that they're definitely aware of when these changes occur, and they withhold a lot of the resources that are worth things, usually precious metals, gold, but also diamonds and gems and stuff like that. Because I think that we do go through different ages, whether it's the Iron Age, the Dark Age, which we're heading out of now, or into the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, or the Golden Age. They collect things in different periods, and they have things that hold different value. They have more value to them, energy in that. I know I'm going off here, but they know this. They're aware of certain phases, and so they're able to control the planet by controlling these devices, these materials, and this knowledge. And so what I think right now, what we're seeing is basically desperation. It's actually a sign of hope, which is what I see as desperation on behalf of these entities that are basically trying to manage us, control every facet of our life. They can't control every facet of our life, which is why they rely on things such as government or religion to basically police ourselves. That's what people are fantastic at, policing themselves, governing themselves. And these, what I call just, entities or dark entities, dark forces, some people call, that exist in this realm, they need people. They need all these people to basically live in fear, but also to live this out, to play this out. And it's kind of cyclical, where it goes up and back and forth, and they feed off their energy. In other words, if people did not indirectly acknowledge it and would stop playing the game, they would just go away. So as long as humanity keeps playing the game, i.e. with a victim mentality of being victims, playing the role of victim, and they keep doing that, we're going to keep going through these cycles of what this is like the way I put it. It is kind of spooky when you think about it, but if you just think of, like, say, you go through the whole 26,000 year cycle from Dark Ages, Iron Age to Golden Age, you're talking about 26,000 years. Can you imagine doing that 26 million times or billion times? I think we're going to have to go through something like that, 26 million times of living this whole thing out from caveman times to now, and doing it over and over again 26 million times before we even get close to saying we're all humans, let's build a global government. Ultimately, that is where we're going to go, but we're not there yet. We're way, way, way off. And to think that we're even close is to be very naive, I think. So the best thing, that's why I say, is to not be naive, to realize that you have a lot of infant baby souls here, and they deserve to be here just as much as everyone else. So as much as I bitch and complain and try to break the system down and explain it, it doesn't mean that I don't understand the bigger picture. My goal is more spiritual than it is political. I'm trying to reach those people that already are semi-aware. I'm not trying to convert people. I'm hoping to help this process get over with, or get through it, so that we don't have to do it 26 million times, or so that we eventually get to that point. So, what these a-holes are trying to do is they're just trying to prolong it. They're trying to prolong their reach, their power, and prevent this natural balance from taking place. Which is why all of a sudden now they're talking about the UN. Ooh, the UN. U.S. won't demand use of force in UN resolution. That's what I thought about. They were never going to use force. They never were. That was to scare Assad. If they couldn't have used force because they had all those chemical weapons there. They couldn't have done that. I just realized that, and that forced and scared them towards Russia, which then said, "Oh, just declare your chemical weapons. That'll buy you time." And it's game over for them. Game over for the region. Game over for the Arab people in the region that have been targeted. They went after Africa using Britain. They went after Asia using Britain. They went after the Hispanics using Spain in the name of humanitarianism or religion. But now they're done with religion. Now it's just basically humanitarianism, which means destroying humanity, destroying the tribes, destroying the bloodlines, destroying people's history and connections to whatever they had, their history. And even though they've destroyed the tribes, the people still exist in China. They're still Chinese, they're still Asian. In South America, they're still South American. One may be called communism, or one may be called capitalism, or leftist or rightist, but they're all the same, different flavor, like I said. And these whites, which are usually Jews in the front lines, are responsible. When these entities are done mixing the rest of the white people out of existence, they'll be coming for yours too. Thank you.